Okay, once all the strings are installed, you know you did a proper job when all the strings are facing away from the peg, the tuning pegs here. So you want the strings to be at the bottom-most orientation of the pegs, and you want the last two strings to be underneath the string retainer. In this guitar there's only one string retainer. Some guitars might actually have two, or you might have a bar across all of the strings depending on what kind of a nut you have, and if maybe you have a locking nut or a Floyd Rose system, it'll be different. But in this case, we're pretty much done. So we're going to go to the next step where we're going to tune the strings and then start looking at the bridge and the string height and everything related to that. Okay, so we're ready to tune up the guitar right now. And what we're going to do is, before we actually tune up anything, I like to stretch the strings. What I normally do on a new set of strings is I grab the strings and pull on them, not hard enough to snap the string, but just enough to loosen up a little bit of tension, because typically the strings need to stretch. And you'll see that new strings will go out of tune quite frequently on a new guitar till they actually stretch out. So once I do that a couple of times, I tune up the guitar. This is my old trusty, very old tuner. Still seems to work fine though. So basically I'll turn that on. It helps if it's on. And then I'll tune up the guitar across the strings, all of the strings. They don't have to be 100% perfect at this point. What we're trying to do is we're trying to take out the slack in the string. We're going to take out the slack, get it to as close to 440 as we can. And then we're going to do it again. This will just give us an opportunity to get everything in the same ballpark. Because you'll know when you tune up a guitar with new strings, the first time you go through the tune-up process, by the time you get to the thinnest string, the top, the fattest or the low E string is out of tune again. So it's no use killing yourself trying to get it perfect the first time around. You typically have to go through the process a few times. There we go. And we carry on. Do the last one again. See, and there we go. That's pretty close. And then we go back to the low E string, and you'll notice that it's going to be flat again. Bring that one up. Again, ballpark is good enough. And don't worry if this happens. I mean, a lot of people panic and they're like, oh, there's something wrong with my guitar. It doesn't, you know, it shouldn't do this. It's actually quite normal. And after you do this a couple of times, you'll notice that it gets a little bit more stable as you go, and eventually it stabilizes itself out. Now I'm back on the low E string again. And obviously, if you plug in your tuner at this point and you don't get anything, no reaction from the tuner, it could very well mean that you didn't do the wiring properly and you're getting no sound out of the guitar. So you might want to look at the wiring at that point. Okay, now we're a little bit sharp on the E here, which is good. It means it's actually not getting out of tune as much. And at this point I'm doing it in such a way where I'm trying to be a little bit more precise and get closer to, you know, right on tune, right on 440, you know. There we go, and we're almost there. And at this point, what I like to do is actually I'll play the guitar a bit, and it'll help with the stretching of the strings. All right. So I think we're pretty close at this point. Now we can start looking at the relief of the neck and the bridge to make sure that the heights of the strings are just where we want them. So we'll need a pick at this point. So let me grab a pick and I'll be right back.